Hey, this is Kenton Newby coming to you with my video tip of the week. Now, one of the things that comes up if you're a website owner or a blog owner or you have any kind of online business is coming up with content for your website. And more specifically, what in the heck do I write about now? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you one of the resources that I use to help me come up with really great content ideas that also will hopefully bring you more traffic to your website. Now, you can see from the screen here that I've gone ahead and logged into my account over at hittail.com. Now, Hittail is a really neat service for not only finding out where your traffic is coming from, but also for providing you with suggestions on what kind of topics to write about next. You can see here that once you log in, you end up on the very first screen, which shows you referring sites that are sending you traffic, and it gives you a listing of search terms that people are using as they find your site, which is really valuable info. Now, this is the same sort of info you can find in your log files on your control panel for your web hosting account, so that's not really all that great, but it does get better. So let's go over to the next tab where we can filter out, instead of just looking at where all that traffic is coming from, let's just look at the keywords that people are using as they find our site. This can be pretty valuable, knowing what terms people use to find your site and what kind of terms are driving people towards your site. And again, this is some of the same kind of info you can get in your log files, but let me show you what Hittail does that makes it a little bit different. If we go down here, you can notice up at the very top column heading here over on the far right where it says hit. If we scroll down there, we'll see every once in a while we'll get this little orange dot here. And what that is basically telling us, hey, this is a suggestion that Hittail is giving us for something we should write about. And what these are search terms that people are using that ends up driving them to your site, but that you don't rank all that highly for. And the reasoning behind this is that, you know, if you're already ranking pretty well, say for instance, does vinegar help acne for my little acne site here, if I'm already ranking pretty well enough for that to drive traffic to my site, and I haven't even written an article targeting that term, then if I actually write a specific article just covering this topic, or just covering this question in this case, then it stands to reason that I would rank even better, get more traffic as people search for those terms or other similar terms as we go on down the road. And so what you can do is just click here and move that over to suggestions, and then up at the top go over to the next tab where it says suggestions, and it actually filters through all of these keywords and just shows you a listing of the suggestions based on Hittail's algorithm. And so what we can do is kind of go through here and sort of sanity check some of this stuff, because like any software, it's going to suggest things that might not be specifically relevant to your site. But go through here and find a couple of these things that look like they might be relevant to your site, and then you can add them to your to-do list just by clicking, and it moves them over to your to-do list. And so if I can click on maybe a couple more of these, and then click on to-do list, and now I have a nice concise to-do list for me to write articles about, or to outsource to my article writers, or what have you. So whatever method you use for writing your articles, this is a really neat way to come up with content ideas that are already driving traffic to your site in an attempt to get even more traffic, and it helps you in terms of finding out what to write about in the first place. The other really neat thing about Hittail, if we go over here to the far left, if we click on the My Hittail tab there, you can see here that what this is showing me is a listing of keywords over here on the left, and then how many searches actually resulted from those terms. And you can see here that the top 10 are basically we'll call that the short tail, and everything else makes up the long tail. And you can see here that long tail terms are resulting in 62.1% of all the traffic coming to my site, versus those top 10 terms, the most frequently searched terms, are only producing 37.9% of the traffic. So all of these terms here in green, only giving me 4, 3, 2, maybe 1 search per term, all totaled up account for more than 60% of the traffic hitting this particular site. And that just confirms a lot of what we're hearing about the long tail, and it's really neat. And in fact, over time, you'll likely see this number increase and the top 10 decrease in terms of the amount of traffic those are bringing. So that's a brief overview of Hittail. You know, they have a free version and a paid version. They both work pretty much the same, so I definitely think you should check it out. It's a really neat service. You just add a little snippet of code down to the bottom of any of your web pages. They also have a WordPress plugin that you can find if you just go and Google for that, and I highly suggest you check it out. It's a really neat service. Well, that's it for this video tip of the week. For more tips and info like this, I invite you to visit my site at kentonnewby.com. Hope to see you there soon.